All right, everyone, it's time for a very important story, which is on the wall that Trump wants to build. And here, 48 hours later, after I decide to weigh in on, the fact that Trump has not sold out, I'm exonerated in my beliefs. Trump's still going all in for the wall. He's just proposed another block of funding. This time it's like the additional $4.5 billion, and I think that's semi-separate from the $8.5 that was mentioned in the initial budget draft. So we're talking about a large amount of money. He's still got the national emergency on the table, and that's what this is about, which is that Congress is trying to get rid of that. They don't want the wall. Dude, a bunch of Republicans jumped ship to vote in favor of officially rejecting the national emergency declaration, which sets up the possibility of a constitutional battle, by the way. It doesn't look like they're going to have the votes in the House to actually create a veto-proof majority. It does not look like they will prevail, which means that the national emergency stands as is, injunction by the Ninth Circuit, weaponized, judiciary, and goes before SCOTUS. In which case, there is a good chance Trump wins. It is made clear, yes, indeed, when hundreds of thousands of people are illegally crossing your border on a monthly basis, it is a national emergency. Yes, this discretionary spending that Congress already allotted to the Pentagon can be legally diverted by the executive branch to use for that defense spending. It's a cut and dry fucking case. It's already been authorized. The money's already been authorized. Some people, yesterday, due respect to this individual, but some said, well, the executive branch can't appoint money. Absolutely. That's totally true. The legislature does. What the legislature does year over year, budget over budget, is give the Pentagon billions and billions of dollars every single fucking year that it doesn't need to account for, that it can spend on whatever it wants. It's for disaster, emergency relief in disaster zones. You have a hurricane or something, it can be spent for that. It can be spent on, you need a fence somewhere. You need more tanks. You need to bomb more people. The Pentagon gets huge latitude from Congress because nobody in Congress has the balls to question what that money is used for. Trump can use every fucking penny of that if he wants. He can direct the Pentagon as the commander-in-chief. Yeah, as a national emergency on the border, we're going to build the wall. Yeah, we're going to build the whole thing. Liquidate $20 billion. He can do that. This terrifies Congress. Look, the Republicans, by and large, are neocons. And some of them, like Rand, has an excuse because he's like, well, I don't think national emergencies should exist at all. I think they're all unconstitutional. Okay, granted. I'm not going to jump down his throat for that because at least he's an ideological, at least he's coherent in why. All of these other, though, they're a bunch of neocons. They're the kind, they want illegal immigration, they want war, they want high taxes and gun control. They're not really conservative. No, they're liberals, basically. They're just liberals with an R after their name. They're Bushites. These are the Never Trump front of the Republican Party. But thankfully, it doesn't look like they're actually going to have enough votes to stop Trump. So then SCOTUS weighs in. And this is what I told all the black-pilled Republicans. Oh, I voted for Trump and he's cucked out on the wall. No, he hasn't. He's been obstructed by Congress and the judiciary. He, though, is holding his ground. He's threatening another government shutdown to get another block of wall funding. He has secured some already in 2 different installments. You'll remember, within the first 6 months of his presidency, he had them giving him, $1 billion? It was mostly for prototyping ICE agents and border crossing upgrades, but he did get that money. That was the first step. Rome is not built in a day. Anyone who thought that Trump would come in and on day one he would have every penny that he wanted to build as much wall as he wanted is fucking fooling themselves. You fell into the same trap as people on the left who are worried about that and saying, oh my god, he's an authoritarian, he's going to be imperial president. No, he's towing the line he's definitely towing the constitutional line. He could just start attempting to grab up land and build his fence or wall or whatever, the fuck people want to term it now. He could start doing that right now, but he's got an injunction. He's decided to obey it and not do what I think it was Andrew Jackson or one of these presidents just ignored. I think it was the Supreme Court in that case, like, oh, they made the decision, now let them enforce it. I can't remember exactly the circumstances. He could go full imperialist. He could be like Bush, but he didn't. By the way, we've had national emergency orders that enabled mass surveillance and restrictions on speech and crazy shit like that that's blatantly unconstitutional. There is no constitutional amendment banning us from building a border wall. And then the liberals will shift the goalposts, say, well, most of the illegals here didn't come across the border. They overstayed a visa. Okay, granted. Totally different group of people. People in a migrant caravan, yes, they are the kind that want to storm over the border. That's a little different from, oh, I came as a tourist and I just didn't leave. Okay, that's a problem too. Yeah, we need to address that separately. That has nothing to do with the border wall. Christ, people need to screw their heads on properly. Trump's doing what he can. The thing is, it's like when Coulter weighs out. I fucking hate that vapid gas bag. Oh my god, he's already got the legal authority to build his wall. Yeah, technically he does, but when the courts issue an injunction, you have to pretend as though you don't. Because the only other thing is you'll be held in contempt. Yes, the judiciary does have the power to really, really fuck with Donald Trump. And then not only will you not get a wall, you'll get a nice far-left president next, because Trump will hit 0% approval because he'll get, removed from office. You'll end up with Pence running. You'll guarantee the Democrats win, which means that the DNC that would normally coronate a boring neoliberal will instead coronate a Bernie Sanders and throw the borders open entirely. Beto out of nowhere. We're going to tear down the existing border wall. No fence for you. But nation states, that's passé. Who needs the United States? Fucking shit. You hate America if you love the United States. That's basically what the liberals have been saying anyway. You hate American values if you don't want to erase the existence of our state entirely. Doesn't make any sense to me, but I mean, it passes for sense among people who think that Bernie Sanders is no longer far left. Like Julian Castro apparently thinks on reparations, among other things. Reparations and guns, so to speak. Very, very interesting political times we live in. Trump's doing all he can. And by the way, I mean, the National Emergency Declaration isn't the end-all be-all anyway. If there's going to be another budget showdown, he might just shut down the government, put the screws to it, and say, okay, this time I'm not joking. I'm not even going to negotiate. I want my wall. Enough is enough. Give me the wall, give me a clean funding bill so that I can build it in these areas that I've identified. ICE wants it. The American people want it. Most Republicans, other than these never-Trumpers, want it. He can put pressure on them. He does have higher approval now as well than before. And he knows that his approval will go down somewhat, if he does the government shutdown thing. It did before. And then when he ended it and gave the State of the Union address, his approval shot up by 6 points. He knows that, but I mean, Congress will take a hit too, basically. If you want the full wall, though, you're going to have to re-elect Trump because it's not going to all be built by the end of his first term. No, it's not going to be, and it never was going to be, because government is slow. As long as you're obeying the Constitution, the whole goal is for government to be slow. It's better when it's slow and inefficient and ineffective than when it's like really fast. Yeah, the Patriot Act was passed real quick. Look at how that ended up. The NSA was established, the mass surveillance apparatus, real quick. Wars start really quickly. Are they a good idea? When government moves quickly, it's usually a bad thing. That's about all. Peace out.